We already went live. Oh shit! You can't do it. Yeah, that's fine.
You still have 5 minutes?
I think they get the whole time. Yeah.
Okay. Gordon, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Here goes nothing. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Callahan's Bowl-O-Rama. Actually, good evening. It's 6:30 already. And welcome to the Stepladder Finals of the Cambridge Credit Invitational. Saying goodbye to some guys here who just finished the super match play portion of our event. And we are here for the 4-person stepladder, and the survivors are Alex Aguiar as the top seed, Dennis Bissonnette in position number 2, Paul Smith and Tim Healy. Smith and Healy, both the beneficiaries of big games in the last position round of match play, and they came back to bounce out Frankie Kalka and Aaron Major to make it into the stepladder, and here we are. So we'll be bringing you 3 stepladder games. Bruce Hall here with you, and along with my broadcast partner, Brian Gaskill.
Hey, Bruce.
Brian, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Saying goodbye to our other broadcast partner, Chris Forey, who's taken off into the cold. And from Cambridge
Jeff
Credit,
Dawson's chiming in already.
Jeff Dawson, he takes Alex Aguiar, so that's good to know. And Gordon Oliver from Cambridge Credit. Hi, Gordon.
Thank you for having me. Hi, guys.
Yeah,
bud.
great to have you. Welcome back, and thanks for the commentator. Jeff, how are you doing? Good to see you, my friend. And this is NEBA number 959, everybody. This is the big year-end event, even though it's the beginning of 2022. We are here with $7,500 added money, $3,500 from Cambridge Credit Corporation, Cambridge Credit Counseling Invitational, and $3,500 from NEBA. That's over 7. Actually, it's about 4,000 from NEBA. Ends up being $7,500 total added money. So pretty good added cash here. So here's Dave Kipperman working the magic on the score as both Smith and Healy are ready to start the match. And let's see what's going to happen relative to who picks which lane. Paul Smith is the higher seed of the two by virtue of his 279 in the position round. And here's Healy. I guess he's going to ask Healy to start on the left lane, and here we go. Haven't seen a lot of Tim. Tim has been home. He's been away, not doing a lot. Tim from East Providence with 5 NEBA titles. And here he goes. We are on fresh. So Tim left, straight up, gets the mixer. Good start there for Tim Healy. So gas, it's a 3-to-1 oil pattern, 3.8 to 1 oil pattern, 40 feet, 24.55 mils. But the heads are scratchy, right? So how are you seeing this play? Don't think about it.
It's hard to say when you didn't bowl. Well, we didn't get the bowl on this because we didn't make the cut. So,
right.
You know, we've been kind of just wandering in the back, and I mean, I guess if I knew, I'd still be out here. But I mean, it's playing sort of, you know,
great shot
a little higher scoring than it looks on paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd think. Yep.
Right. I mean, because it's only 3-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, guys are averaging 230, 240 that have gotten this far. So
yeah.
I mean,
there's some big numbers out there. Alex has been averaging around 240 actually. And
but you know, like I kid, but I mean, honestly, it's really, if you're not bowling, it's hard to tell what's going on. I mean, you can only see so much from back here.
What are you looking at, Gordon? What do you think?
Yeah, so I'm curious. The self-proclaimed Great Right Hope, the number 1 seed, what advantage on a pattern like this or disadvantage does he have being the lone right-hander with no one playing on his side when you've got some left-handed guys working this pattern for a couple of games?
Could go either way. The left could open up, and he might be at a disadvantage, or the left could get squirrely, and he might have a huge advantage. We're going to find out.
I think there's some natural scratchiness to the front you know, there's so many games bowled here at the center that I think, you know, even on fresh, you know, Alex on the right is going to face earlier hook than the typical lefty would on a typical pattern. But there's so much play that's going to happen in between. And by the way, you've got urethane going down the lane here. I believe Healy's got urethane. And I'm pretty sure Paul has urethane. So these guys are both going to drag that oil down the lane. So by the time Dennis gets here, you know, I think he's going to.
And he's throwing urethane too.
He's throwing urethane as well. So I think these guys, by virtue of the games there, by the time you get to that third game, you're going to see quite a bit of drag down, and I think you're not going to see a lot of back end. So honestly, I would have to right now, and also given, you know, his toughness and match play and all this, I would give the advantage to Alex, frankly, just because I think all this.
Not that he needs it. Not that he needs any.
Yeah, but because I think all this urethane is going to get it a bit slushy on the back.
There you go, right there.
And unfortunately, there's a misstep by Healy, not picking up the 3-9. The ball just didn't quite finish. So there wasn't a lot of finish anyway. So it did surprise me to see so many guys with urethane, you know, doing well. Because for me, I had to use pin-up, flippy, you know, reactive.
Well, you know,
even on the 5-1, right?
Maybe it goes back to what we talked about with Forey at the tournament champions. Maybe the urethane gets started up a little sooner, and you can get the ball going right before that speed bump down lane if there is one. You know, maybe that's the case. Maybe urethane is better, and we would.
Yeah, it reads earlier and just sets in the pocket. But if you miss left a little bit like Tim just did there, you're certainly not going to get it to make that corner. Right. It's going to be harder to do, certainly.
I mean, again, they're bowling on a different pattern than we bowled on this morning.
Yeah.
I did try to throw urethane in practice because I kind of thought it might work. And it might have. Maybe I made the wrong play. I didn't use it. But I threw it in practice for about 5-6 minutes. So, you know, if I could handicap ball reaction from back here, I'd be a ball rep. So you know, and again, they're on the other side of the lane from where I'm used to seeing. So I really have no help for you.
I was curious how Healy was going to shoot that after he just missed the
3-9, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then he almost looked like he chopped it, right?
Well, I thought he might chop it. He certainly would have cleanly made the 3-9 with that direct approach, but almost chopped the bucket that way. But he does get the spare. But nonetheless, Paul is deeper. Paul's got more hand, so you got to give Paul Smith the edge in this match. And with that, let's see if we just cursed him on this next shot. Dennis Bissonnette warming up 2 pairs to the left over on 27 and 8. And there's Paul. And perfect.
You know what I loved watching today so far is just seeing everybody just honorably competing and some great sportsmanship out there. Just people kind of, you know, as a community cheering on each other, even though they're individual competitors. Look good.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this is it's an event with a lot of money. I think there are a few people that were a little bit worried about the weather and didn't come. So, you know, you got a somewhat limited field, but you got all the best players here. So I think there's a lot of mutual respect back and forth. As I said, a fair bit of cash they're bowling for. I'll tell you that Paul Smith just came off the Regional Players Invitational in Vegas. I happened to be there watching him, and he showed amazing versatility at that tournament because normally you think of Paul as just a hard hitter, and that one he got right off his hand.
Got a nice break there.
Yeah, got a good break breaking up the baby split. Normally you think of Paul as just a huge hand, right to left, swing it out to the dry, have it come back, you know, average 800 on you know, China or whatever it is. He took a very difficult, very flat RPI pattern, went out and went straight up 3, 4, 5, 6 all week, just about, and was really impressive. Just missed the cut. I mean, he didn't miss by, you know, more than 20 or 30. So, you know, he had a very, very impressive showing. So he has rounded himself out as a bowler, you know, very impressive.
I'm trying to see what that ball he's throwing is. I'm not convinced that's urethane.
Can't tell.
I can't either, but I'm not.
Pretty sure Tim's is urethane.
Oh, that's, yeah. That's pretty good.
Great shot there.
Good comeback now. Quick 31-pin lead by Paul Smith by virtue of his triple and Healy's open. So Smith in command of this match. Let's see if Healy can cut the lead a little bit. So Gordon, I want to thank you and Cambridge for sponsoring this event. This really is the title event that we look forward to all season. And, you know, I know Mr. Viali couldn't be with us this week, so I don't know if you're pinch hitting or you know, I think you were with us last year, actually.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
my role is the Director of Business Development for Cambridge. So, again, sad to not see Chris. You know he's a fierce competitor. Would have liked to see him where he ended up today. But, you know, to represent Cambridge, obviously Chris is the champion that is continuously promoting this great organization as he should. 1963, this has been going strong, and you can see why. Even the way the tournament's being run, just very professional. And, you know, to share the mission of Cambridge Credit Counseling, you know, our main mission is to educate people on financial wellness and financial empowerment. We recently, Christopher gave me an opportunity for a radio program that we're doing on WHMP in Northampton.
I read about that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and again, we're a nationwide organization, so we operate out of Agawam, Massachusetts, servicing people throughout the entire country. And the radio program works well because even though it's local, it keeps the expense down, but we're able to use it as a podcast so we can spread the information that we're sharing. And it's anything from consumer protection to debt management to just keeping people safe and giving them ideas if they're not doing well financially. You know the economy right now is turning, and even though we hope not for the worst, all the indicators in our industry show that people are starting to struggle more. Everything's more expensive. I have a quick story if you guys don't mind.
Just 1 second.
Sure, go ahead.
So Smith just packed the last one. He's got a 21-pin lead, and this one's straight up the lane.
Big
and
shot
made
right
the
there.
Adjustment off the pole last time, and responds to Healy's double with a double of his own.
Yeah, so the quick story, I have a friend, a restaurant, you know, they kind of struggled during COVID, right? As a lot of small businesses did. And sometimes there's a correlation between business owners and personal finance because they use some of their credit cards and whatnot to fund businesses. But just a simple example, restaurant, chicken wings, they used to sell 100 for $95. Now they have to increase that cost to $195 because of the cost of chicken. That's just one little thing that shifts.
Double.
It's almost double.
Yeah.
So we're just seeing a lot of indicators where people are struggling, and we're really happy to be in a forum like this where we can share that we're available in case people are having trouble.
So you're saying that one order of chicken wings will max out your credit card now?
If you order a couple hundred, you're going to get there for sure.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. Well, I appreciate that. And I'd also like to add, Gordon, that was a great story, and that Amy and Chris Viali on their own are offering a $20 bounty for anybody who brings a woman to bowl a NEBA who has not bowled NEBA before. So we have a real focus on the women's series this year. We have the first event coming up. In fact, there was a question on the stream about our next event. It is January 29th and 30th at Circle Lanes, and it's the many styles of bowling singles, and it's the first stop in the bowlingseriously.com women's series, where women will get half off their first entry. Your typical entry in the NEBA this year is $80. We dropped that down in the annual meeting, and 40 of that will be covered by bowlingseriously.com. So we're really focused on the women's series this year, drawing women into the tournament as supported by Amy and Chris. So we can't thank them enough. So.
Yeah, you know, leadership, right? So Chris is he started the initiative to try to get bowling in the Olympics. And him and Amy are such a just amazing team that it's no surprise that they're really trying to get the game promoted and get as many people involved because it's such a great game and it's fun to watch, fun to play in.
Healy's cut this lead down to 11.
Ooh,
back to
I think
21.
he got away with that one a little bit.
Right. 59. Back
Smith's
to 21.
up 21.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Healy really made it a match if Smith was going to miss. Now, Paul Smith coming off 279 on 35 and 6. And can he match that here in his first finals match, his first stepladder match? And that would shut out Healy. Healy maximum 258. So I wanted to also talk about some of the other sponsors we have coming up. On February 26th, we have the trio sponsored by East Coast Sports Investors. And on the 27th, we have the doubles for on 27th, we have the doubles for the Strike FX Pro Shops doubles, and another great shot there by Paul Smith. And he extends his lead back to 31, right, Gas?
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Okay,
yep.
31 there. So So thanks to East Coast Sports Investors and Strike FX. Also thanks to our other returning sponsors and new sponsors for the year, including Bullwinkle's Pro Shop, BuddiesProShop.com, I Am Bowling powered by Logo Infusion, Ace Mitchell Bowling Supply, Green Mountain Open, Dexter Bowling Shoes, Savage Arms, Turbo Grips, Grog Monster Sports, a new sponsor for this year, Callahan's Bowl-O-Rama, where we are now. And Healy stays in the match by striking. He better go all the way. That's all
Big
I can
shot.
tell him. Yankee Lanes, Chicago Sam's, another new sponsor. BowlingSeriously.com, we talked about them. Tony and Susie Renaud and Bloomfield Electric, who sponsor the Masters Series. TechVision Livestream, you're watching a TechVision production right now. KR Strike Force, Yankee Lanes once again in Manchester. DJ's Pro Shop, Storm, Rotogrip 900 Global, our title sponsor. Thank you so much to them. We give away 2 balls every event, and the 2 balls this event were run by RJ Broge by virtue of him missing the cut by 7 at 10:57, and the raffle was won by Mike Colby. Each of those will get their choice of Storm, Roto, or 900 Global balls. And Better Bowling Concepts and Ideal Bowling Concepts out of Norwich. And Healy continues.
Still think Alex has the advantage?
Yes.
Great question.
This is going to get. That's funny. You know, I do like left-handers, but I get it. You know, no, I get it. And we'll see. Now, well, they haven't gotten squirrely yet. So
well, again,
these
I
guys
told you,
are just
I want to try and get a look
striking,
at that ball. I'm not sure Paul Smith is throwing urethane.
I think you might be right about that.
Because
So we'll
it feels like it's covering a lot more ground than a urethane ball would, even with
Yeah.
his hand.
That's true. That's a good
But
point.
I can't see the logo from where I am. But
That's a good point. Well, here we go. Paul with ball in hand. He'll need to go. He'll need to get at least the next 2. We'll get to the 260s, and there's a 7-pin,
Man.
well,
which is
now
going to.
we're going to have the
cap
Bo
him
Burton possibility of a tie.
at- yes, he can go 258 by going sheet right now, and so can Healy. So here we go. And
Great
Healy-
hearing that list of sponsors. Chicago Sam's is relatively new, right?
Brand new. We
Yeah.
haven't had him before.
Ryan Keeley, he's like the captain over there, and they run just an amazing, amazing restaurant.
Sweet.
Really
That's
great
awesome.
guy. Really,
That's
I'm
awesome.
glad he's involved. It's totally awesome.
I will tell you that the total cash and supporting equipment donations this year, support from sponsorships, is over 60,000. Wow. Last year when we mentioned that same number, it was about 50,000. So we're up about 10,000 in sponsorship overall for NEBA. And you also want to hear about a couple of very special season-long events. The Paul 4-8 Memorial Series, which is 10,000 added money, sponsored by BuddiesProShop.com and Chris Forey, is a season-long event. There's 8 events, each of which will take the top 8 into a finals format, kind of like the FedEx Cup. And we'll talk more about that later. And Paul gets the crumbling bucket. And what an interesting hit that was. It looked like the 6-pin came back forward to take out the 3 and the 5. So there we go. And, of course, the Women's Series will have its own prize fund at the end of the year. There'll be 8 places paid for the Women's Series. So lots of really interesting special events, lots of added money. My dad's tournament is coming this year, and I know we had to do a lot of postponement because of COVID. My dad's coming, $6,000 added money to that event, which is over under doubles with no restrictions. So lots of fun things coming up for this year in NEBA. Of course,
Wow.
Kicked off by the Cambridge Credit.
Yeah, you just kind of touched a little bit of a nerve. So I bowled for a very long time, and in the JBT days, I knew Chris Forey and Paul. Paul was just an amazing man, just so positive, just as a young person in the Junior Bowlers Tour, just always friendly, always trying to help. So I'm really happy to see that you guys have that memorial event. That's awesome.
And that got postponed. So a lot of these events have been
This
pushed
pin
off
matters here.
a year. So,
All right, so Healy needs 2.
So 248.
Two
So
to win.
If Healy misses,
Strike 9 spare is
if he
short.
misses right, he drops by the
Yeah.
count, right? So he can't miss. So
2 to win.
Anything else, loser. Tim Healy not having a lot of tournament experience, really, having been away, but making a wonderful showing here. Let's see how he does. He's got his heels. I don't know if you can see. He's got his heels hanging off the back of the approach, using the full approach. There he goes. And that's good. That's 7. Paul Smith advances. Good shot there. Unfortunately, couldn't get the carry.
Looked very identical to Smith's 7-pin.
It
Looked
did,
just
didn't it?
about the same, yeah.
Well, maybe the carry down has already begun. So
Yep.
here we go. And it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the BCNet match. So we'll wrap up this match, and we'll be back for the round 2 of the Stepladder. We are going to do individual streams for each of these so we can entitle them and refer back to them later, guys. So we are going to sign off, and we'll be right back for the next match. It won't be long between games, so don't go very far, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. We will be right back for the second Stepladder game. Hang on, guys. We'll be right back.